Hello everyone, welcome back to the Full Stack Web Development course. So in this specific lecture, we are going to concentrate on this upvote and downvote. So as of now, it is like a null value. It doesn't have any value so far. So it is not like I can just click this and increment by one number, and if I just click this and decrement it by one number, it won't work like this, because if you just give the functionalities like if I just click this, if I increment this number vote number by 1, and if I again click this, it will also be incremented by 2. So we don't want to give fake votes. We just want to get only one vote from one user, whether he can upvote as well as or he can downvote from the specified already voted numbers. So to implement this, we will use the user IDs of each and every persons. So if the we will have an array of user IDs, so we will check if the user id is present or not. If the user id is present, he couldn't upvote, he could only downvote. If the user id is not present in this particular array, he can upvote as well as he can downvote. So the same thing follows for the downvote also. So before doing this upvote and downvote, we will go to the home page. Here you can see I have deleted all the rest of the questions, because uh, if you have went through the previous lectures, we got a bug in the schema as well, because the user id for the question as well as the answer is not available in the database. So we rectified it in the previous lectures. So that's why the previous questions won't have the user id as well as the user ID for both the question as well as the answer, but actually we need that to calculate everything in our application. So to maintain functionalities like share and delete, we will need that. So that's why we got that. So we will also first we will look into this thing. We have to convert this date into human readable time, because here we have done that. It shows like asked 4 minutes ago. So like that we have to calculate it using this thing also. So first we will go to the code now. So we are here, we will open the client and go to the src, and then we will go to the pages. Sorry, we will go to the components and home main bar. In that the home main bar we will go to that specific thing, and in here I'm not using the time. In here we will be using it in the questions, I think so. Yeah, uh, here you can see we are using the time. In here you can see we are using it in here. So what we can do, we will just change this to, we will import moment first, as we done in the previous lectures. Import moment from moment, and in here we will go here and we will wrap both of this with moment. We will pass the time as a parameter, and dot we will get from now, which calculates everything for us. So if we go to the home page, so you can see asked 5 minutes ago. So in here also it shows like asked 5 minutes ago. So everything works just fine for us as of now. So now let me just close this file, because we don't need that anymore. We will go here, we will just collapse this. And first, so in the previous lectures we have done the server side first, and then we have integrated with the front end. But in this case we will start with the front end and we will go to the back end and we will come to the front end again. So that's how our way of coding will be in this process manner only for this voting alone. because that's how you can understand it easily. So we will go to the questions, and in here questions details. So in the question details, scroll down, where are the upvotes? So here are the upvote image as well as the downvote image. So in here I'm just going to have another. So in here I'm just going to have an on click event handler, which is gonna be equals to handle upvote like so. And in here I'm just going to write a function called handle downvote. So that's it, we have declared two new functions. So in here we will create the function const. So we will do const handle upvote, which is going to be equal to an arrow function with an arrow. So in here I'm just going to dispatch. So dispatch a specific action which is gonna be called as vote question. This vote question function is not yet been initialized or written. We will do that. Actually we will do that, and then the second thing we're gonna have is nothing but upvote. We're just going to give a string like upvote to detect it whether it is a upvote or downvote in the backend, and this is nothing but the questions id. So and the second thing we are going to use is nothing but the user id. So to do that, just going to pass the user dot result dot underscore id, which is going to be the user id. So I'm just going to copy the same thing again, and I'm just going to rename it to downvote like so. And then here also I'm just going to change downvote. Then now we'll just keep it as upvote and downvote. Now we have to write this vote function. So here we will be importing that vote question from the action slash question. So we will go to the action slash question to write this vote function, vote question function. So now we will go to the actions. In here we will go to the questions. In here we will just write the export const vote question, which is going to be equals to id comma value, which is going to be the string value which we got from the question details page, which is nothing but whether it is an upvote or downvote, which is nothing but the value. And the third thing is nothing but the user id. So it's going to be an arrow function with async of dispatch. So here's a typo, async of dispatch. Oh no, async of dispatch. This is because we are using redux thumb. And then in here we'll be having a try catch block, and in the try block we will be saying we'll be having const data, which is just from the backend, which is going to be equals to await api dot vote question. So this function is also not yet written in the API file. We will write that as soon as possible. So this function is gonna have the parameters as the same thing of the vote question function. So we're gonna provide id value user id as parameters for this vote question also. In here I'm just going to So in here I'm just going to fetch all the questions. So by fetching all the questions, it will fetch our votes also. So we don't want to do it separately. We can just make a launch request which is going to give a response of all the rewards. So and then we will do console.log of error. So now we will write this vote question function in the API. We will go to this index.js. In here we will write a function export const vote question, which is gonna be equals to, we are gonna pass id comma value comma user id, which is gonna be in turn equals to API dot, instead of delete we are gonna use, we're gonna send a request of patch because we are updating the record with the new vote list. So that's why we are using patch in here. And then we are just going to have backticks. Inside that we will be having questions slash vote slash dollar curly braces. Inside that we will be having question ID, and then we will be sending the value and the user ID as body. So now we have passed the value and user ID as the body of this request. So now we have, so you can see here I followed a fat pattern. These two requests is for authentication, these four is for questions, and these two is for answers. So I have just differentiated by just leaving a line empty. So you can just make your code more readable by adapting these things also. So now we have done with the front end part. Now we will go to the back end part. So let me close this everything, and we will go here, we will go to the server. In here we will go to the routes, and then we will go to the question, and in this question we will write a new request like router dot patch of slash vote slash id, because this is the URL which we have done in the front end, and it's gonna have vote question, and then we will import this vote question from the questions controller. And this vote question is not yet written, we will write it now. So let me go there, we'll go to questions. In here we will try to write a function export const vote question, which is going to equals to async of request comma response of, so in here first we're just going to get the ID of that particular question, and it's going to be renamed as underscore ID. So this is going to be equals to request dot params. So we have used params in many places in the past lectures. So the next thing is going to be const value comma user ID. So these things are going to be destructured from request dot body. So and then we will check this ID, is this ID is a valid, MongoDB ID. We have done that previously in here, the delete question function also. We will copy that same piece of code, we will just put it down here, and we can just say we can have a try catch block. So in the try catch block, we're gonna first get the question from the database, like await question, which is nothing in the schema questions dot find by id. So by finding this, we will pass the id. So find by id has only one parameter, which is nothing but question's id. So in here what we have done is nothing but we are just getting a record with the corresponding id. So this question value is now is assigned to this question variable. So this question has the entire value of this particular id. So if we go to the database, so as of now it has nothing. Let me just refresh, and in here there is only one record. So what I have done in here, I have just finding a record which matches this particular id. So this record's entire value will be stored in this question. So now we can change the question value of these variables, any variables in this question. So this question contains all these values, which is nothing but an object with a key and a value. We can change the value of any keys in here, and we can just update it with this record. So we will see how to do that. First we will get this question, and in this question what we can say, so let me just go here, go to the questions. So in here you can see the upvote is nothing but a string of uh, array of strings. So the default value is nothing but an empty array, so you can see that. So now we will go here. In here what we can do, we will just we got this entire record. In the record we will just say const up index, which is gonna equal to question dot upvotes dot find index of id, which is gonna have a callback function in here. So id is gonna be triple equals to string of user dot user id. So what I have done in here, so if we see, we are just finding an index. So this id is nothing but so find the index is nothing but like a for each loop. We have used for each loop many times. So if question is the object which contains all these values, in that we do have upvotes key, which is nothing but corresponds to this key, and in that, so let me go here, we'll see. So it is not upvotes, it's upvote. So we will just reduce this. Yes, we will select that upvote, which is nothing but an array, and we will find a specific index. So to find that, this id is nothing but each value of that array. We will take that first value of that array, and we will check is that value equals to this user who has sent a request. So this user id is nothing but the user who has sent a request. So if that id matches an element inside this upvote array, so if this upvote array contains the id of the user who has sent, we're gonna just have the up index value. We're gonna just assign that value to the up index. So like that, we will just write the down index also, which is gonna be equal to the same thing, but instead of looping through the upward, we will just loop through the downward. So I think this is moldy in here, and then the next thing we are going to check is nothing but if value triple equals upward. So this value is nothing but sent from different, and we have destructured it here. We're just checking if that value equals upward. Then what we are going to do, we are going to first check down index not equals to -1. If it's so, if it equals, it doesn't equals -1, then what we're going to do is that we're going to just select the downwards inside the equation, and we're going to just make it to equation dot downwards dot filter of id, which is gonna be equals to id which doesn't equals to string of user id. So if you get confused what I have done in here, so wait, let me explain this again. What here has happened, we are just get this downvote is nothing but an array which contains the user IDs who has downvoted the particular question. If that contains almost 5 IDs, we are just going to loop through that specific 5 elements. If that specific element matches the user ID of the user who sent this request, then the down index might be equal to some value. If the ID is existed in the array of downvote, if the user ID is already present in this downvote, then the down index might contain any index value of this downvote. So if it doesn't equals -1, it means so if down index equals to -1, then it means there is no user ID found in this downvote array. But if it doesn't equals to -1, which means down index, which means downvote array has the value of this user ID. That's what this statement and this statement means. So if that user ID is already present in this downvote array, we are just going to remove that. So that's what we have done. So if the so if the user has to upvote a particular question, like we go here, if we want to upvote this question, he has not to be inside. Wait, let me go here. I will explain with this question, with this scenario. If I have already liked this or upvoted this question, let me give here. It may take a second to upvote. I think I have already upvoted for this question. So if I just click this upvote, then this has not to be incremented. So if I have already upvoted, this has not to be incremented because it may violate the upvotes. So it will just randomly increase. We can just have 1,000 likes in here like that, so we don't want that. So if we have already upvoted, we don't want to upvote again. So if I If I downvote, then this value may reduce to 1. So wait for that, it is just getting a delay in the network side. So let me refresh. It shows like page not found. So we will go back. So in here we will go to the first question, or we will go to the last question like this. If I want to upvote, let me click 1 and this 0 might change into a value of 1. So we will just wait for that. So it's like I didn't log in, that's why this thing has happened. So let me log in again. I will log in with a new user like Kumar and say Kumar. So I am logged in now and I will go down and I will go to this question. So if I want to upvote, so now this has been changed to 1. So if I downvote, it should not go to 0 because only one user can give an upvote or downvote. So because if I just click this, it shouldn't upvote again because we don't want it to be 2, it want it to be 1. So I have upvoted this question now. If I just click upvote again, it shouldn't upvote. So that's what the thing I was convey. That was I was trying to tell. And if I hit downvote, I should go to -1 because a user can provide upvote or a downvote. We don't want to give both upvote and downvote because in here I have already given the upvote. So if I just downvote, it shouldn't go to 0 because I have to reduce my upvote and I have to increase my downvote. So if I just downvote, it should go to -1. It won't go to 0. So let me explain again what I was trying to convey. So first we will just make this thing a 0. Sorry, we couldn't make that. So if this is -1, I have already downvoted it. Okay, consider I have already downvoted it. It is -1. If I downvote again, it should not go to -2 because a user can only one time do their voting. So that's what it means. And then if I upvote, this thing should not be changed to 0. It should be changed to 1 because if we make this 0, it means we have provided both the upvote and downvote for this particular question because I have already downvoted. So if I hit upvote, it should go to 1 because I have to provide upvote or downvote only once. Either one I have to provide. I should not provide both. So that's what the thing we are doing or dealing with. So in here I'm just trying to find, is the user id is already inside the upvote array. If it is present, then the up index might have any index values other than -1. But the upvote array doesn't contain the user id, then the up index variable will contain a value of -1. Similarly, down index does the same thing. If downvote array contains the user ID, then down index value varies. If downvote array doesn't contains the user ID, then the down index might be -1. So while dealing with upvote, I have to satisfy three conditions. I have to check, is the user already downvoted, or I have to check, is the user already upvoted, and then only I can upvote his I can consider his vote. So do you get it? So if I want to upvote, I have to check three conditions. I have to check, is the user already upvoted, or is the user already downvoted, or he is a new user. Only assessing by these three conditions only I can provide him a vote. I can consider him as a vote. So that's what we are gonna do. So in the upvote, so if the value triple equals upward, which means the user is has clicked this upward symbol. If the value equals downward, it means the user has clicked this downward symbol. That's what it means. So that's the thing which I have conveyed in here. And then if the user want to upvote, I have already told we have to check three conditions. We do have two conditions and we can have a final solution. So the first condition, the user, we have to check the user have already downvoted. So if down index doesn't equals to -1, which means the user has already downvoted. So I have to remove his ID from the downvotes array. So that's what I have done in here. So I'm just going to write another condition. If up index not sorry if up index triple equals -1, then if up index triple equals -1, then which means we don't have a we don't have that person's vote yet. So we are gonna add that value to the upvotes array. So what we're gonna do, we're just going to have question dot upvote dot push of request. Sorry, we have to push the user id. So what I have done in here, I have just checked uh, does this upvote array has this user id. If it doesn't has, I'm just pushing that user id. I'm just considering him as a new vote and I'm just validating his vote. So we do have an else condition in which if the user has already their vote in that particular question, so if the user already has upvoted, then the upvoting up index might not equal to -1. In that case, I'm just going to question dot upvote dot question dot upvote is going to be equal to question dot downvote. Sorry, in here I made a typo. It has to be downvote dot filter of id, which is going to be a callback function, and this id is not going to be equals to string. We are just filtering that particular user id. So let me explain again what the thing is going with the upward. The same thing is going to be done with the downward thing. So in the upward, what we are doing, if the user wants to upvote, first we are checking has the user already downvoted a particular question. If he has downvoted it, we are just filtering him out from the downvote array. We are just removing him from the downvote and we are just leaving him. And if the user wants to upvote and he has not already, if he doesn't already have voted, we are just pushing his value into the upvote array. So that's what we are doing in this condition. So if the user has already provided his vote, we are just removing that vote from the upvote. Sorry, here I have to provide upvote. So that's what we are doing. So if it is like, if in this case I have provided the I have provided my downvote. If I don't want to provide my downvote, if I want to be neutral, I can click this again. So now this will be changed to 0. You can see that. If I want to provide my upvote, I can just click the upvote and make my vote as 1. If I don't want my upvote, I can just get it back by clicking this again. So it will be 0. So let me explain these three conditions again to make things clear. First, so consider this scenario where I have already downvoted. So if I just click this upvote now, what I have to do, I have to remove my name from the downvotes array. So that's what this first condition does. So consider uh, this situation where I have already provided my, so don't consider that, just consider this situation where I have not provided my vote. I'm a new voter now. If I just give my new vote, I have to push my user ID to this upvote array. So that's what I have done in here now. So consider this situation now. If I have already upvoted this particular question, so now my vote has been already recorded in the upvote array. But if I don't want that upvote, I want to be neutral, I can just get it back by just clicking this. So I will be now 0. So the upvote will be now 0. So in the upvote array, my name will be removed. So that's what I have done in the third condition. So the same thing repeats for downvote also. So here I can have else if, and here I can just say downvote. And first in here we will check the upvote index, and then after changing the value, I will explain what I have done in this second condition. We will change this upvote to upvote in here also, and in here this is nothing but down index. So in here I'm just going to have downvote dot push, and here also downvote, in here also downvote. So in downvote scenario, first consider this condition. If I have already upvoted, I have to remove my name from the upvote array. So if I am a new downvoter, then I'm just going to push my value into the downvote array. If I have already downvoted, if I want to be neutral, I'm just removing my name from the downvote array. So that's what these three conditions has depicted now. So now we have successfully changed the value of the upvote and downvote array. Now what we are going to use say is that we have changed the value of both upvote array and downvote array. Now we have to push that value to the record, to that specific record in the database. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to say await questions dot find by id and update, find by id and update of the, I'm just providing the id which is we are gonna replace, and we're gonna replace the entire record. So that's what we have done in here. So what I have done, I am just retrieving the entire record from the database using this specific ID, and I am changing the questions upvote and downvote in here. You can see in this specific lines we have changed the upvote and downvote because I have assigning value and pushing value to this upvote and downvote. After changing this value to that specific record, I am just updating the entire record by find by id and update. So I'm just providing the id and the updated question. So I'm just replacing that entire question with this new question which contains the updated upvote value and downvote value. So we have replaced the record now. Then now we are just sending the res dot status of 200 and JSON of a message like it is gonna be order successfully. So if there is an error, we'll just say status of 404 dot JSON of message. This is gonna be ID not found. So that's it. We have done the backend, which is a huge part of code, which almost takes almost 40 lines. So this may be huge, but this is highly efficient. While it can handle both upvote and downvote, but by making changes in this code, you can also do like and dislike also. So upvote and downvote is like and dislike. So that's what we have done in the entire piece of code, which has a lot of logics to understand. So just go through if you don't understand again this video. So now we will check it in the browser. Before doing that, we will go to the client. In here I think we have to do some changes, because we will go to the src, and in here we will go to the pages questions. In that questions details, in here we will go to the upvote and downvote area, so which is this. So now upvote is nothing but now an array. So I'm just going to say dot length. So now which upvote gives the number of users have upvoted, and the downvote gives the number of users who has downvoted that specific question. So by separating the upvote dot length and downvote dot length will gives the entire vote for us. So what we're gonna do, we're just going to copy this entire thing, and we will go to the components. In that home main bar, we will go to the questions. In here also, we will come in here, we will change that this entire values like to upward dot length minus downward dot length, which gives the number of votes already provided. So here we will go to our application. In here first we will try to upload this question. Now this value has been changed to 1, which is a nice thing to hear. And I can also downvote. If I downvote, it has to go to -1. So now it is -1. If I want to be neutral, I don't want my downvote, I can take it back. I can just take it back like this. So this is really cool. We have made the upvote and downvote like a like and dislike thing in many social medias like YouTube, Facebook, like so. That's how we can deal with upvote and downvote. So in this video we have done this votes, as well as we have changed this thing also, and pretty much we have done everything in this application. Still we got is the tags page as well as the users page. We have to deal with these tags and users in the upcoming lectures, and then we will be showing how to log out a specific user. So we will see both of them in the next lecture. Thank you.